Hello, my friend. Let me tell a very special story about my life. When I was 12 years old, I became interested in English. There was no app for me to download, no online course, no grammar book waiting on a shelf. There was only a bicycle, a hotel near the West Lake in my city, and strangers I had never met. Every single morning, rain or snow, I rode that bicycle for 40 minutes, just to find foreign tourists and speak with them. Not perfectly, not with confidence, just simply, nervously, again and again. I did this for 8 years. No teacher stood beside me correcting every mistake. I simply showed up, listened, spoke, and came back the next morning to do it again. I want you to notice something important about that story. I never opened a grammar book before I opened my mouth. I never waited to understand every rule before I tried a single sentence. I listened to real voices, and I spoke back, imperfectly, every single morning, until one day, that same broken English became one of the most valuable skills of my entire life. Maybe you have been learning English for months, even years. Maybe you know grammar rules that you can barely use in a real conversation. Maybe you understand when you read, but the moment someone speaks to you, your mind goes quiet and your mouth goes still. If that is you, I want you to hear this clearly. The problem was never your intelligence. The problem is that most people prepare for years, but never actually speak. So today, I will teach you how to learn English in 7 days. We are going to do something different. No grammar books, no long lists of rules, just listening and just speaking. Each day, I will give you one small, simple thing to do. Nothing complicated, nothing that requires hours of your time. Just a few minutes, repeated with real intention. So here is my only request for you before we start day 1. Do not aim for perfect. Aim for it daily. Speak a little today, even if it is small, even if it is shaky, and even if no one is watching you at all. Because in 7 days, you will not be fluent yet. That was never the promise. But you will have done something far more important than memorizing a single grammar rule. You will have proven to yourself that you can speak, starting today, without waiting for permission from anyone, including yourself. Let's begin. Start with day 1, and I want you to think about that boy on the bicycle again for just a moment. Before he could talk about business, before he could talk about ideas, before he could talk about anything complicated at all, he first had to learn how to say one simple thing. Who he was. My name is Jack. I am from Hangzhou. That was the beginning. Not a beautiful sentence, not an impressive one. Just true and just spoken out loud to a stranger who had no reason to be patient with him. That is exactly where we are starting today. Not with grammar, not with big vocabulary. With you simply saying who you are, out loud, in English. Maybe for the very first time in your life, without translating it in your head first. Here is what I want you to do. Find a mirror. It can be in your bathroom, your bedroom, anywhere you can stand and see your own face. This matters more than you think, because I had real eyes looking back at him every morning, real strangers who could see whether I was nervous or trying my best. You may not have a stranger available right now, but your own reflection can be that same honest witness. Stand in front of that mirror and say these 5 lines slowly, clearly, and out loud. What is your name? And then say your real name. Where do you live? And then say your city or your country. I am learning English. I want to improve my speaking. That's it. 4 short ideas. Nothing complicated, nothing you need a dictionary for. Now here is the part most people skip, and I don't want you to skip it. Say each line again, and again, 3 times each, at least. Not in your mind, out loud, with your real voice, loud enough that your own ears can hear it clearly. I didn't practice English silently in my head while riding that bicycle. I spoke it out loud, into the wind, into the noise of the street, to real human beings standing in front of me. Your voice needs that same practice. Thinking the words is not the same as saying them. Only your mouth can teach your mouth. Your voice may shake a little the first time. That is completely normal, and I want you to expect it instead of fearing it. Every single person who has ever learned to speak a new language felt that same small shake in their voice at the beginning, including a boy who was once too nervous to approach a tourist outside a hotel, who probably felt his own heart racing the very first time he tried. Once you feel a little more comfortable with those 4 lines, I want you to add one more layer: feelings. Language was never only about words. It is about the emotion sitting underneath those words. So now add these. I am happy today. I am a little nervous. I feel excited. Say whichever one is actually true for you right now, in this exact moment. If you are tired, say, I am tired. If you are hopeful, say, I am hopeful. Let the sentence match something real inside you, because real feeling is what makes a simple sentence come alive, instead of sounding like a robot reading from a page. Now imagine someone walks up to you today and asks, how are you? Instead of the silence that usually comes, the freeze, the searching for a perfect answer, I want you to say, I am fine, or I am doing great, or I am a little busy today. Notice something important here. The conversation has already started. You didn't need advanced grammar for that. You didn't need a big vocabulary. You needed 4 or 5 honest words, spoken without waiting for permission. This is day 1. So before you move on with your day, stand in front of that mirror one more time. Say your 5 sentences. Say them loudly. Let your own ears hear your own voice speaking English, maybe for the first real time today. That is enough for day 1. Not perfect, not impressive, just spoken, out loud, by you. Day 2. Yesterday, you said who you are. Today, we go one small step further. Today, you are going to describe your own life, out loud, in English, at the exact moment it is happening. When I was at that hotel near Westlake, I did not carry a list of English words in my pocket. I simply pointed at things around him, a cup, a bicycle, and a door, and I said the English word right there, right then, with the real object in front of me. No book, no dictionary, just the word and the thing, together, at the same moment. That is exactly what we are going to practice today. But instead of one moment, we are going to fill your entire day with these small moments, one after another. Let's walk through it together, from morning to night. When you wake up, say it out loud. I am waking up. When you brush your teeth, say, I am brushing my teeth. When you drink your tea or your coffee, say, I am drinking tea. When you eat your breakfast, say, I am eating breakfast. This tastes good, or this tastes strange today. Whatever is actually true. When you leave your home, say, I am going to work, or I am going to school. Then, later in the day, keep going. When you check your phone, say, I am checking my phone. When you sit down to rest for a moment, say, I am sitting down. I am tired. When you cook something, say, I am cooking dinner. When you walk outside, even for a short walk, describe what you see. I am walking. The street is busy. The sky is gray today. When you come back home in the evening, say, I am home now. And before you sleep, one last time, say, I am going to sleep now. I spoke English today. Notice something. That is not 4 sentences anymore. That is 10, maybe 15 small sentences, spread quietly across your entire day, without you needing to sit down and study for even 1 single minute. Simple sentences, present moment, real action, real words, at the exact same time you are living them. I once met a man who told me, "I know grammar, but I cannot speak." I asked him a simple question. "Do you practice speaking every single day?" He said, "No." That was the whole answer, right there. He had studied the rules for years, but he had never once connected an English sentence to something he was actually doing with his own hands and his own body. Grammar lived only in his notebook. It never lived in his life. Speaking English is like learning to walk. You cannot learn to walk by reading a book about walking. You learn by moving your legs, again and again, until your body simply knows how. In the same way, you learn to speak English by moving your tongue, again and again, connected to real moments in your real day. So today, do not worry about perfect grammar. Do not worry if the sentence is not exactly correct. Focus only on connection. This room is small. The weather is hot today. My phone is old. I like this food. Tiny sentences like these, said out loud, at the right moment, build something very powerful inside you, quietly, 1 small sentence at a time. By tonight, if you follow your whole day this way, you will have quietly spoken more real English than most learners speak in an entire week of studying grammar books alone. And you will not feel tired from it because it never felt like studying. It simply felt like living your day 1 small sentence at a time. That is enough for day 2. Every action you take, from the moment you open your eyes until the moment you close them tonight, say it out loud in English, right as you do it. Day 3. Today we talk about something most people forget completely: listening. Most people want to speak first, but think about this carefully. Language enters through your ears long before it ever comes out of your mouth. A baby does not speak on the first day of life. A baby listens for months, quietly, before a single clear word ever appears. Your brain needs the same quiet listening time, even as an adult. So here is your simple rule for today. Listen to English every single day, but not difficult news channels, not fast movies. Start with something simple, short videos, simple conversations, slow, clear voices. And here is the technique I want you to use. Listen, pause, repeat. For example, listen to this short line. What are you doing? I am reading a book. Now pause and repeat it out loud, exactly as you heard it. Again and again. Your mouth must copy the sound, not just your mind understanding the meaning. Now let me give you something a little deeper, because this technique deserves real attention. It is called shadowing, and it works in 3 simple stages. Stage 1. Play 1 short sentence. Pause completely. Repeat it exactly, same speed, same rhythm. Stage 2. Play the sentence again, but this time, do not pause. Speak along with it, just half a second behind the speaker, like a shadow following close behind a person walking. Stage 3. Try speaking almost at the same exact moment as the speaker. Copy not only the words, but also the way their voice rises and falls, the little pauses, the feeling, and the sentence. Take that same line, "What are you doing? I am reading a book," and practice all 3 stages with it today. Notice something as you do this. That line has a rising sound at the beginning, like a real question, and then a calm, flat sound in the answer. Your voice should move the same way, up first, then calm. Now try one more line, a very different one, to feel the difference clearly. I am so happy today. This line does not rise like a question. It stays warm and full from the very first word, with a little extra strength on the word happy. Say it flat, with no feeling, and then say it again with real warmth in your voice. Can you hear how different those two feel, even though the words are simple? That difference, the rising question and the warm, flat statement, is exactly what shadowing trains your ear and your mouth to notice and copy in every new sentence you meet after this one. Here is something important I want you to understand clearly, because it changes how seriously you take this exercise. Your mouth is a muscle, just like your legs, your arms, and your fingers. And muscles do not grow strong by being explained to. They grow strong only through real, repeated movement. You can understand perfectly, in your mind, exactly how a sentence should sound, and your mouth can still feel stiff, slow, and awkward when you actually try to say it the very first few times. That is not failure. That is simply an untrained muscle doing exactly what untrained muscles always do at the beginning. Shadowing is not only training your ear to recognize sound, it is physical practice for your tongue, your lips, and your breath. The same way lifting something heavy again and again slowly makes an arm stronger. The 10th time you shadow a sentence will always feel smoother than the first time, not because you suddenly understood something new, but because your mouth has now physically practiced that exact movement 10 separate times. Do not feel embarrassed if your pronunciation is not perfect at first. Even native English speakers have many different accents. Confidence matters far more than a perfect accent. I have seen people with broken English change their entire lives, simply because they were brave enough to keep speaking. And I have seen highly educated people stay completely silent for years, simply because they were too afraid of one small mistake. Which one do you want to become? That is enough for day 3. Listen, pause, repeat, then shadow, with both sentences, feeling the difference in their rhythm. Your ear is training, and quietly, your mouth is training too. One small repeated movement at a time. Next, day 4. This one is a little harder than the others, so stay close to me today and take your time with it. Most learners translate every single sentence from their own language first. They hear an English word, they quietly translate it inside their heads, and only then do they understand it. That is exactly why they become slow and confused and tired in a real conversation. Today, we begin training your mind to think directly in English, without that slow translation step in the middle. Thinking directly in English means you already know the road. You do not need the map anymore. You simply see the corner, and your body already knows which way to turn. Here is how to start building that road inside your own mind. When you see water, think water. Not the word in your own language first, then water second. Just water, directly. When you feel hungry, think, I am hungry. When you feel sleepy, think, I want to sleep. Simple, direct, immediate. No stopping, no map. At first, this will feel strange, maybe even impossible. A student once told me, I cannot think in English. I told him, you also could not walk when you were born, but you learned. Everything becomes easier with repetition, including this. So today, I want to give you 2 small exercises, not just one, because this particular skill deserves extra practice. First exercise. Look around you right now, wherever you are sitting or standing. Point at things silently in your mind and think the English word directly. Phone, chair, window, door. Do not let your own language step in between the object and the word. Just the object and the English word together. Second exercise, and this one goes a little deeper. Later today, when you go outside, even for a short walk, or even just to your window, I want you to describe not only what you see, but also what you feel, directly in English, without translating first. The sky is gray. I feel a little tired. This street is noisy. I feel calm right now. Feelings are harder to think about directly than simple objects, because feelings live very deep inside your first language. But this is exactly why practicing them matters so much. If you can learn to feel your emotions directly in English, even small ones, you are building a road that goes much deeper than just naming objects around you. Then, before you sleep tonight, I want you to ask yourself one honest question. Today, how many times did I catch myself thinking directly in English, without translating first? Maybe it was only one single moment, one object, one small feeling. That is completely fine. One moment counts. One moment is a real, true victory, and tomorrow there will be two, and the day after that, there will be even more, quietly, without you forcing it. That is enough for day 4. Small direct thoughts, repeated daily, slowly stop feeling like a strange new road, and slowly start feeling like the only road you have ever known. Day 5. Today, I want you to speak, even if there is nobody around to listen, even if you are completely alone in your room right now. Do not wait for the perfect partner. Do not wait for someone patient enough to practice with you every day, because that person may never appear, and your English cannot wait for them. If nobody is available right now, speak to yourself. And I want you to understand why this actually works, not just believe it because I told you to. When you speak to another person, your brain is doing 2 difficult jobs at the exact same time. It is trying to find the right English words, and it is also trying to manage your fear of being judged. 2 heavy jobs together are a lot for anyone. But when you speak alone, to yourself, only one job remains. Finding the words. The fear disappears completely, because there is no one there to judge you. This is exactly why speaking alone first is so powerful. It lets your mouth practice the movement, the sound, and the rhythm without your brain also fighting fear at the same moment. Think of it like a dancer rehearsing alone in an empty room before ever stepping onto a real stage. The dancer is not performing yet. They are simply teaching their own body to move correctly and safely, with no audience watching and no mistake feeling dangerous. So here is what I want you to actually do today. Ask yourself simple questions out loud and then answer them also out loud. What did I do today? I went to the market. I talked to my friend. I watched a video. What do I want to do tomorrow? I want to clean my house. I want to call my brother. How do I feel right now? I feel a little tired, but okay. Ask yourself these questions at different moments. In the morning, ask, what is my plan for today? In the afternoon, ask, what has happened so far? At night, ask, what was the best part of today? Let me give you a fuller example so you can hear what this actually sounds like when you connect a few sentences together, not just one at a time. Imagine saying this quietly to yourself in the evening. Today was a normal day. I woke up late. I felt a little tired. I went to work. I talked to 2 people there. In the evening, I came home, and now I am cooking dinner. I feel okay. Tomorrow, I want to wake up earlier. Notice, this is not one sentence. This is a small story, your own real story, spoken out loud, connected naturally. one thought leading into the next. This is exactly the kind of speaking real conversations are actually made of. Speak while you are cooking. Speak while you are walking. Speak while you are cleaning your home. And once a day, if you can, choose one small topic, just one, and speak about it out loud for 2 full minutes, without stopping. My family, my job, my favorite food. Talk about anything freely, even if you repeat yourself, even if you pause, and even if you forget a word halfway through, and simply continue anyway. Some people may laugh at those who talk to themselves in English. Let them laugh. People laugh at beginners, but later they quietly admire experts. Expert or beginner, somebody will always have an opinion, so that opinion should never be the thing deciding whether you speak or stay silent. And please remember this deeply. Fluency does not mean speaking fast. Fluency means speaking without fear. Even slow English is beautiful if it is spoken with confidence and without apology. A slow sentence, spoken calmly, will always carry you further than a fast sentence, spoken while shaking with fear. Now, I want to be completely honest with you about something. Some days will be hard. You will be tired. You will be busy. You will not feel like speaking at all. And that feeling is normal, not a failure. On those days, you do not need to do everything. You do not need to fail completely either. Just speak one single sentence before you sleep. Today was hard, but I still spoke. That one sentence is enough to keep the chain alive. Never let 2 days pass in complete silence, one after another, because one missed day is simply a quiet pause, but 2 missed days in a row quietly starts becoming a new habit, and not the one you want. That is enough for day 5. Speak alone if you must. Speak small if you must. Speak slowly if you must. But speak today and again tomorrow. Next, day 6. Today, we stop chasing difficult grammar rules, and we learn something far more useful. Real, practical English, the kind you will actually use in real life, tomorrow, or even today. Many learners waste years memorizing complicated grammar terms they will never once use in a real conversation. They can name every tense correctly, but they freeze the moment they actually need to ask for help in a shop. Here is why practical sentences work so much better than grammar terms. A grammar rule lives only inside your head, quietly, waiting to be used someday. A practical sentence lives inside a real moment, ready to work immediately, the second you actually need it. It is the difference between owning a map of a city you have never visited and simply knowing how to ask, "Where is the train station?" when you are already standing lost on the street. So today, learn sentences that solve real problems. How much is this? Can you help me? I do not understand. Please repeat. Where are you from? These few simple lines help you immediately, the moment you actually need them. No grammar book is required. Let's walk through a few real situations together, the kind you might actually face this week. Imagine you visit a shop. You can simply say, "I want this." How much does it cost? Do you have another color? Simple English, spoken clearly, can solve a real, everyday problem right in that exact moment. Now imagine a different situation. You are walking outside and you are not sure where to go. You can stop someone and say, "Excuse me, where is the nearest bus stop?" Or, "I am looking for this address. Can you help me?" Most people, almost everywhere in the world, will slow down and try to help you when you ask this simply and this politely. Or imagine you are sitting in a small restaurant, somewhere new, somewhere the menu feels a little confusing. You can say, "What do you recommend?" Or, I would like this one, please. Or, is this spicy? Small, simple sentences, but each one opens a door that silence would have kept closed. Here is one more sentence I want to give you today, one that will save you many times in real life, in almost any situation at all. I'm sorry, I do not understand. Can you say that again, slowly? This single sentence is powerful. It is honest. It keeps the conversation alive, instead of letting fear force you into silence. Somewhere, a long time ago, a boy on a bicycle probably needed this exact sentence too, standing in front of a tourist who spoke too quickly for him to follow. A tourist who was patient enough to slow down and repeat, simply because the boy was brave enough to ask. English is not a school subject anymore. Not for you, not from today onward. It is a life skill. It can help you get a better job. It can help you communicate online with people you have never met, from countries you may never visit. It can help you learn from the entire world, not just from one classroom, but only if you stop being afraid to use the small, simple English you already have, right now, today. That is enough for day 6. Learn what you will actually use, and use it as soon as you possibly can in the very next real situation life gives you. Day 7, our final day together. Now, I want you to make one honest promise to yourself, right now, before we finish. You will never again say, "My English is weak." Instead say, "I am improving every day." I want you to understand why this small change in words matters so deeply. Your mind is always listening to what you tell it about yourself. If you keep calling yourself weak, your own mind slowly starts believing it completely, and it quietly stops trying as hard, because why try hard at something you have already decided is impossible for you? But if you say, "I am improving," your mind hears a door still open, a project still in progress, something worth continuing to work on. A person who says, "I cannot speak English," closes that door before they even try to open it. A person who says, "I am learning English," keeps that same door open a little wider every single day, simply through the words they choose to believe about themselves. Sometimes, your own family or friends may not fully support this journey. They may laugh when you speak. They may ask why you are suddenly trying so hard, why now, and why bother. Ignore it gently, without anger, without needing to argue or explain yourself to them. Growth often looks strange to people who have quietly stopped growing themselves, and their comment usually says more about their own fear than it says about your effort. Protect your dream, quietly, the same way that boy protected his early mornings, riding alone, telling almost no one, needing no one's approval before he began, and needing no one's approval to continue either. One day, the same people who once laughed will ask you, "How did your English become so good?" And your honest answer will be simple, quiet, and completely true. "I practiced every day. Today is difficult. Tomorrow is more difficult. But the day after tomorrow is beautiful." Do not stop right before you reach it, because that is exactly where most people give up, right on the difficult day, one step before the beautiful one finally arrives. That is day 7. Not perfect, fearless. That was always the real goal. From the very first mirror, on the very first morning, all the way until now. My friend, we have reached the end of these 7 days together. Do not underestimate the quiet power of one new sentence, learned and spoken every single day. Most people believe real change only happens through one huge dramatic moment. But real change usually happens quietly, slowly, one small sentence repeated at a time. Imagine learning and speaking just 5 simple English sentences every day. In 1 month, that becomes over 150 sentences, lived and practiced, not just read once and forgotten. Confidence does not arrive overnight, and I do not want to promise you something false. Confidence is more like a sunrise. Slowly the darkness fades. Slowly the light grows a little stronger. And one day, without one single dramatic moment announcing it, you simply notice that the sun has fully risen. That is exactly how confidence in English grows too. Quietly, gradually, and then quite powerfully. So keep practicing, even on days you feel embarrassed. Even on days you feel tired. Even on days you feel like nothing at all is improving. On those exact days, remember, discipline matters more than motivation. Motivation comes and goes, like weather. Discipline simply keeps moving, rain or snow, the same way one boy once kept riding his bicycle toward a hotel full of strangers, morning after morning, for 8 quiet years, until the entire world finally noticed what he had built. In the next video, we will talk about how to think in English naturally with 99 sentences.